It's Fernando Ruiz Art.
Hi everybody, it's Valerie from Josie and the Pussycats, part 3. So if you've been hanging in there with the channel, watching our recent episodes, you've watched me pencil Valerie from Josie and the Pussycats, and you watched me inker, or partially inker at least. And now today we're gonna give Valerie some colors. And I thought Valerie especially is worthy of a video because she gives us the opportunity to go over some African American skin tones, which we haven't done much of. And really, the amazing thing about coloring darker skin tones is there's no difference. There's really no difference in what I'm going to do between coloring darker skin tones from coloring lighter skin tones. I'm going to be doing the same thing, just doing it darker. So yeah, I've got my Copics in hand. And I'm gonna be starting out with my E13, which they call light suntan. Now, if I were doing someone with fairer skin, lighter skin, Caucasian skin, yeah, I'd be using a much lighter pen, my E02 probably, or actually I might actually go a little darker with maybe my E11. With the Copic pens, and I've said this before in other videos, you're always better off being aware of the numbers of the pens rather than the names of the colors, because the names of the colors, Copic does change them from time to time. So what I'm doing here now, and let's get in a little closer so we can see, is I am hitting up parts of Valerie's face where I think her face would be darker. So the tops of her chin, of her cheeks, the corners of her mouth, maybe coming down one side of her nose, maybe underneath her upper lip, certainly this little bit underneath her chin there. I'm going to do the same thing on her hand. Down each finger. Down the hand, down the wrist. And I'm also going to go, I'm going to do this hand too. And I'm also going to go down to her leg. Now her leg, with these pussycat costumes, much of her leg is exposed, so this is all skin. And this pen is you can tell by the squeaking, this pen is begging for food. This pen is about to the point where it needs a nice refill. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to an even darker pen. Now this is my E15, my dark suntan. And I'm going to go in and just darken up some of the stuff that we just put down. And this is the beauty about Copics, is they blend so smoothly. It really is more like painting than it is coloring with markers. I'm just hitting up these particularly dark areas of Valerie's skin. Going into her hand a little bit. Now I'm going to go back down to her legs. And notice what I'm putting down here in her legs is what we call a core shadow, which is where the leg gets to be its darkest. And everything is going to radiate from the core shadow. We're going to move into the light from here. And I may end up actually pushing some areas of the core shadow too. But one thing I want to try and do is to keep her leg looking nice and rounded. And I'm gonna, now this is my E18, which they call copper, but it's a little bit more brown than copper. So I'm going to do this for some real darks. Underneath their hair, for example. Maybe underneath their chin, cheeks. Here and there. This is really dark, so I don't want to overdo it because I don't want to make her too dark too fast. And that's about good. Now I'm going to go back to my E13, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend in some of these tones that I'm putting down. So I'm almost going back over some of those tones that I just laid down and just pulling them into the light, going towards the lighter areas on her face. And just like I do with lighter skin, I'm still going to be leaving areas of white exposed on her face. So her face is still going to have highlights to it. It will be shining some or bouncing some light back at us. I'm gonna go to the back of her hand here, and I'm gonna go back to that E15 to kind of smooth out some of these darks that I put down. Maybe on her, go in. Maybe I'll do a whole set of the Pussycats. What do you think? Maybe somebody would be interested in picking up all three. Got a lot of projects I'm in the middle of right now. A lot of commissions. Got to finish a bunch of commissions. And as always, if anybody is interested in a commission of their own, always feel free, reach out to me, and we'll talk. I do a lot of characters. Now this is, I went for E33, which is a sand color. At least that's what they call it. That's what they call this one. And this is going to help me blend in some of these colors as well. And it also gives her skin a little more heat so that she looks more alive. There we go. She's looking okay. And I want to come over, moving down to her legs. Now, one thing about her legs that I really want to try and do is to keep that cylindrical three-dimensionality to them. So I don't want the legs to come across as flat. I want them to seem like they're nice, well-rounded legs. And my sand color is begging for life too. Going back to light suntan, blend and push that a little bit. A little bit of the dark suntan. Going in for just a little bit of the copper here and there. We call this copper, but it's a pretty dark brown. Back to the dark suntan to just help that copper blend in. This leg, which is a bit underneath and behind the other one, yeah, it's okay for this one to get a little darker, but even here I'm leaving some highlights. So as always, in the video description below, I keep links to all my social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the homepage to my channel here. I've also been linking lately to my website, Fernando Ruiz, everybody.com. And you can see a lot of the artwork that I've been doing here on the channel, and a lot of the stuff that I've just done on my own, some commissions, just a lot of different stuff. I've said in previous videos that I have woefully neglected the channel as I've been building this one. But I've been trying to revitalize the channel. I think it's a good source to, a good place to drop artwork and let it sit there, and people could go there and watch. And they could comment too. And I do respond to those comments as well. Okay, now her skin is coming together fairly nicely. Pretty good, pretty good. Down to the feet. As always, before you call anything done, I like to give things a nice drying period where you just let, because markers are a wet medium, much like paint, watercolors, anything like that. So what happens is when they dry, they do change, and sometimes things get much lighter than you thought they would be. So that's why I always like to factor in that time when I could leave things alone. Usually overnight is good. Leave things alone, let science and nature happen, and then come back and see what I have to do. See how I have to, if I have to change anything. So, how's Valerie looking? She's looking okay? I'm using a little Barley Beige E11, just to, again, give her a little bit more heat. Okay, I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna go to my orange, my Chrome Orange YRO4, and I'm gonna start to add some tone to Valerie's catsuit. Is it okay to call it a catsuit? I'm gonna keep things simple because she has all these spots on her tail, so I'm not gonna get into any kind of fancy rendering on the catsuit because I don't want to make it too busy. So I'm gonna just keep things very simple. Really just go in with the color, just a little bit of modeling. Actually, I'm gonna bring in my, now this is a chart pack marker, Chrome Orange. Gotta be a little careful with this. And this is a little bit of a deeper orange. That's okay. And the reason I say you gotta be careful with it is that this one does tend to bleed a little bit, but I like that orange. It's a nice deep orange. And Valerie also has that bit of white going down the front of her costume. So I want to keep that nice and warm to be consistent with the rest of her costume. So I'm going in with some warm gray. This is warm gray. I don't want to just leave it like a flat white because there should be some tone to it. So that's why I'm going in with my warm gray. And that was warm gray number 3. This is warm gray number 1, which is even lighter. And I'm doing the underside of her boobs there. The upper part of her chest. Again, bringing it down to a white, letting the white shine. And that may be all she needs there. I'm going to go over to my Tuscan Orange. which is a little bit of a deeper orange, and this is YR27. And I'm gonna darken up a few more areas on her. And we're pretty much close to finish with Josie. I'm gonna darken her ears. I'm gonna get a little red here, some pure cadmium red. And I'm gonna give Valerie some red lips. And I'm gonna get a little pink to color in her tongue. And I imagine Valerie having very dark eyes. And just about everything, she seems to have dark eyes. So I'm going to go in. This is actually my darkest brown for her eyes. I'm leaving a little highlight, of course, in there. And that was my dark brown, E49. Plain old dark brown. So we're almost there for Valerie. So I think what I may do is what's left of her, doing a little bit of a time-lapse video. That seemed kind of popular with the Superman piece that I did recently. So I want to thank everybody for watching, and if you dug this, please please click like. Please click like. Subscribe if you have not subscribed. Always feel free to share. Don't keep my videos a secret. That's how we grow the channel. And we're closing in on 900 subscribers. Once we get a little closer, I'm gonna announce another giveaway. We want to do a giveaway at 900. So please keep watching, keep tuning in, and as always, keep drawing. Thanks a lot, everybody, and I will see you next time.